How's it going? My name is Ian. This video was recorded on my live stream on World Mental Health Day a few weeks ago. In this video, I talk about how my depression started, what accumulated to my depression, and where I am today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you again at the end. On Saturday just gone, it was World Mental Health Day, and I decided to do a video. I wanted to do a video. I was editing Alan's video last week, Just Man Up Alan's video last week about mental health, and he was going to do a video on the day as well. So I was like, oh fuck it, I'll do a video as well, just talking about my mental health. I ended up doing a full day of videos talking about my mental health and what kind of accumulates to my mental health and all the stuff that annoy me and stuff like that. Initially I didn't get any reaction to it, and then people eventually, by the end of the day, people started like reaching out to me and saying how good it was for me to do it, and it was good just to hear someone else's stories on mental health. And then one of the lads that I went to college with, he reached out to me about 3 in the morning, and he was saying like it just felt so like wholesome, because I wasn't just talking about mental health, I was just being myself. I was joking. I was talking about myself going bald. He was like, it's very wholesome, it's I like your personality. And he was like, oh, you should do a radio, you should have a radio show or something like that. So I was like, fuck it, let's continue the videos, but let's do it on the Sway Jocks page. So to start this off, right, I only recently just like kind of figured out that I think my depression started when I was around 10, 11, 12. This was a time, it was New Year's Eve. It was, I think, New Year's, it just happened. I remember standing in the kitchen. Now I was telling this story to my ma, and she thought that I was like in my room when I started crying or something like that. But I vaguely remember being in, because I remember standing in the kitchen, New Year's hit, and I started crying. And my ma and dad were asking me, why are you crying? And I said, I don't know. I vaguely remember, I think my ma and dad were broken up at that point. And my ma just came back to celebrate New Year's with us. And then we went over to a friend's house across the road. And I remember my sister kind of slagging me. Ian was crying in the house. And I only really realised that this year that's the reason why. I think that's where my mental health started. And I think it's down to when ma and dad breaking up. That's where and I couldn't deal with it, and it just came out. So fast forward, my whole life I wanted to be a mechanic. I wanted to work with cars. Never had any experience with it. Never had any family members that worked on cars. It's just something I always wanted to do, or I always had a love for them, and that's what I wanted to do. I was very shy in school. Very, very shy in school. Like, if you look at me now doing this, and people who know me from college will probably go, you bollocks, you were fucking shy in school. There's no way you were shy in school, because I'm very outgoing. I'm very confident. In some ways, like, but I'm very outspoken as well. There's two contrasts. There's people in college that kind of go, there's no way you were shy in school, but there's people probably from secondary school that were like, how the fuck are you like this? Like, because they know me from school, they're like, you were very shy in school, you wouldn't speak up or anything like that. Fast forward to 6th year, leaving cert. I failed me leaving cert. I failed maths in me leaving cert, and I said this earlier on, right, and I was going to say it again. The amount of people over the years have said, if you fail maths, you fail your leaving cert. It is fucking bullshit, because if you look at me back then, where I did shit in school and shit me leaving cert, and then look at me now with fucking all my distinctions I got on fucking the last year of fucking college. Tell me, if you fail maths in fucking leaving cert, you fail in life or fail your leaving cert. Look at me now, you fucking cunts, telling me all that shit. I would love to go back to school. I would fucking love to go back to school now with the confidence I have, and go through that fucking leaving cert again, and go through that fucking school again, because I wouldn't be fucking bullied, and I wouldn't be fucking a little pushover and a little shy cunt in school. I'd be fucking ruling out. I wouldn't rule school. I'd be just fucking confident going through school. I'd be living my life fucking without worries, in a sense, like. But yeah, so fuck whoever said that. Fuck that. I think for a while as well, that pressure of fucking failing the leaving cert as well fucking put a lot of strain on my mental health as well. Finished fucking school. I thought I had my apprenticeship. When I say I went back up to the place. The fucking mechanics place was closed down. I didn't apply for college at the time. I had no interest in going to college, because I was like, I have this apprenticeship, I'm going to this apprenticeship. I should have kept on the ball with them and see what the story is, but I never did. And then the place was closed, so I went in the door. After a while, didn't want to go on it, went on it. Eventually did a course in warehousing where I learned to drive a forklift. Fast forward to the end of that course, where I think the garage opened back up at that point under a different name, and then I ended up doing work experience with them. Still kind of shy, still kind of a pushover and stuff like that. And this is all accumulating to my depression. I'm still depressed during all this because it's just this story where it's gonna go. Like where I leave school and don't get the apprenticeship, I go do something else that I didn't want to do. Now I finished that course and I'm in a place now where, okay, the garage is open back up, maybe I have a chance now to get an apprenticeship. So I went and worked there for a work experience with that place. Finished the work experience, and they were I think they were going to give me a job. I started working there for free during the summer, but I needed to do it to get apprenticeship, so I worked for free. Eventually went to Foss. Found out when I got to Foss that I was getting well underpaid for the work I was doing. I was doing a lot more work than a lot of the other apprentices were doing. They were getting paid more and they were doing less work. I was getting paid less and I was doing more work. I was taking fucking gearboxes out of fucking vans and stuff. They were all working on cars and stuff, which is fair enough. It's just because it was a van garage. But I was doing all that. I was doing a lot more work than they were. Did Foss, ended up failing the exams. Like, there's a lot of stuff that obviously went through and got a lot of confidence going to Foss. That helped a lot with the lads and stuff that were there. Failed them exams on electrical stuff, because I remember saying, actually, the owner of the garage said, like, if you fail your exams or something like that, we're gonna have to let you go. Like, ended up failing them exams. I think it was more maths and stuff like that. Just didn't understand electrics. Still don't understand electrics. Then I got to another point where I was like, what the fuck do I do? So I stayed in the job for a while, and then I got to a point where I was like, I need to leave because I can't stay here. You know what I mean? And then the owner of the garage was like, you're better off in the production line. And it's just like something that just didn't interest me at all. So I ended up leaving the garage at some point, packed it in. And then I went down I remember for a long time I didn't tell people that I failed them exams. I just said to people that, because I felt embarrassed, I just said to people that, oh no, I just left the garage. No, I just didn't have any interest in it anymore, because I didn't want to tell people I failed in life. And I should have said it. I was too embarrassed to tell the people that I failed. There's something I always wanted to do and I ended up failing on it. Like, I look back on it now and I said I should have studied, I should have did better in my exams. But looking back on it as well, it's like, I don't think it was something I really wanted to do. I like cars, I like engines, but I don't think it's something that I really want to work on. I just never really wanted to work on it. It's just something I had in the back of my mind. Ended up getting a warehousing job, which is, this is where this part of the story where I found out I had depression, was because I remember, I've gone back to even when I was working in the garage, there was a few times where I didn't go into work in the garage. I just kept taking days off, and I think that was down to my mental health, because I realised that when I was in the warehouse, and I'll explain it in a second, but there was days where I took days off and I couldn't explain why. Like, I felt like I was sick, but I wasn't really sick, like more mentally than anything else, and I didn't think it was depression. Eventually settled into the job, and at one stage the supervisor was like, just tell me you don't want to be here. And he kept saying that to me, and at the time I kind of didn't understand why he was saying it, and I was like, no, I want to be here. Deep down I obviously didn't, because I didn't want to be in that job, but I was kind of convinced myself that, because I don't know if he could just see it. He just was like, but he kept saying it to me over and over, and it really annoyed me. I think it was a big eye opener. A lot of stuff happened in the warehouse and that opened my eyes. My granddad died when I was in the mechanics. Actually, my dad started the family, so I think that accumulated. Like, just saying that out loud just kind of makes me a bit upset. Just thinking about them just makes me kind of like, because I was really close to my grandparents on my dad's side. I didn't think I was at the time, obviously, but now afterwards thinking back, I'm like, Jesus, yes I was so close. He died when I was in the mechanics, and that was hard, and I don't think I really dealt with it at the time. And then my uncle died as well, actually, around that time, but I wasn't really close to my uncle that much. That's on my ma's side, actually. My uncle died on my ma's side as well, around the same. I think he died first. That was the first time I dealt with it. That was it. Oh, my granddad died first. I think my granddad died first. The first time I dealt with a death was my granddad, and then my uncle died. Yeah, actually he was. So yeah, my granddad died first. It was the first death in my family. First person and it was sudden as well. Like, he was going in for surgery on his heart, and he's been on surgery on his heart before, and he didn't come out of it. He had a heart attack and he died. It was a shock to all of us. I found out I was depressed. I remember saying I had a day off or something like that. I took a sick day, and I was standing in the landing. I was actually moved from my house. I used to live in this place called Woodlawn, and I moved from there. That's where I grew up, to my nanny's house. And I had a sick day. I remember saying it to my dad. Dad just didn't help at all, and he just kind of fobbed it off. And then I remember saying it to my ma. My ma straight away took me to the doctor to figure out what the story was. And then when I went to the doctor, I knew I was depressed. That was the time when I figured out that I was actually depressed. I went on some pills. It wasn't happy pills. He told me it wasn't happy pills. It was just some pills to make me feel better. And I came after myself. I didn't want to be on pills. I was like, I can get through this without them. I don't need pills. Came after myself. Tried to deal with it. a lot of other shit happened with friends and stuff, and that accumulated towards it. I lost some friends and I gained them again, and there was a bit of betrayal there. And then my nanny died. My nanny died. I didn't think this was going to be that hard. Yeah. She was, my dad's ma died. She was the heart of the family. If you see my documentary, you'd know. And I will link it at some stage. That wasn't a shock. We found out. It's in the documentaries as well. She had cancer. When my granddad died, she stayed on. Like, you want it? I remember, right? I don't know if this is in the documentary, but I remember when my granddad died, they were in love. They were inseparable. Like, I really hope I can find a girl and love her as much as my grandparents loved each other, because they loved each other. And then when my granddad died, I remember my nanny going up to the coffin, and the wail of screams when she saw him in the coffin was nothing. I can't describe how, like, you'd have to be there. And I wouldn't wish it on anyone hearing your fucking nanny or anyone. Someone, she wouldn't leave his side. When the police came in, we had to get a chair and put it beside the coffin, and she was holding his hand. She wouldn't leave his side. Talking about it now, it's kind of like it's helping a bit, but like it's hard. I didn't think I'd go back into this kind of mode. We had a bit of time. We had like a week or 2 weeks. I can't remember when we found out she had cancer. Like, she had a fall and knocked the cancer on or something like that. I can't remember. And we had a week with her, and I couldn't go up to the hospital. I just couldn't for ages. And then I remember going up at one stage. She had the respirator on. She was just kind of asleep. My uncle was standing over her. He was playing some song in her ear through his phone, and he was just crying. It's the first time I ever saw my uncle cry. Like, I couldn't express the emotions at the point. I was standing there like beside him, and I didn't know what to do. I was standing there and he was crying, and I was like, what the fuck do I do? I was just standing there kind of in shock, I think. And then I went into my other uncle, who's not in the documentary. He should have been in the documentary. I regret that now. I should have been, and we should have got him, but he's not in it. And the documentary was supposed to be about him, because he told me his life story in that fucking room, the room beside hand. He told me his life story, stuff that I never knew, and fascinating stuff. The job, obviously, back into the warehousing job. I met a lot of great men in there. There was a lot of men. A lot of the drivers gave me some great advice. That was the best part about that job, was them. They got me through a lot of shit days. Just being helpless and talking bollocks and talking straight, and just give me the best advice and stuff like that. One of them said to me, you should go back to college. They said it to me, and it's because of them I did. I made a mistake that I wasn't in the right frame of mind. Nothing dangerous or nothing like that, just something that if I was in the right frame of mind, I wouldn't have done. But I was done. In my head, I was done. I couldn't deal with the whole warehousing stuff anymore. Everything that happened in the warehousing, and this was way after my nanny died as well. Just so much things for the I just needed to get out of that job. And I kind of knew, but I had to say it. I said it to my dad, I said it to my mum. My dad was like, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. I have to get out of here anyway. I said it to my ma as well. And at that point as well, actually, I was working with my ma. My ma had a business, Media Lab, and she was working with special needs people. And I had a Wednesday off and I had Sunday off. And on the Wednesdays, I was working with them. I think it was down in, we did Wednesdays in Ballymun. I was doing a lot of that, and I was being creative, and I was doing sketches and stuff, and I loved it. I enjoyed it, and I was kind of thinking, oh, maybe I'll go into that. So left that job, worked for my ma for a bit, on the dole for a year. There was a thing of like, you can stay in the dole for a year, but you either have to get work or go on a course. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, and they set me on this kind of thing where you could go to, it's like an open day kind of thing where you go around and look at different courses and colleges and stuff. There was one in Parnell's, and I went into it. Didn't know what I wanted to do. I kind of knew, because I was working with my man, I kind of knew it was something to do with that, like media or something like that. And I was talking to the principal in Clashadoulic. I started talking to him, and I was talking about what I liked and what I wanted to do, and he was saying, well, we have a media course, and he was trying to give me the booklet. And I was like, oh yeah, looks decent enough. Went home that day, bought the booklet home, told my ma about it. She was like, you should apply for it. Didn't apply for it straight away, and then eventually had to apply for it. But yeah, so did the college thing, got into the college thing, and loved it. Loved every second of it. First year for us was the best year. The lads like Botanic Gardens singing What Is Love on the way back from fucking Botanic Gardens, going in for drinks as well. Just the fucking banter we had in first year was fucking unreal, like, with all the lads, like, going into Sabaros. You just couldn't beat it. And second and third year wasn't the best as first year. Second year, I like second year as well. Best class, 100% the best class, 100%. Can't beat the class, like, could never. We had the best people, like. Second year was, I thought second year was good. A lot of people didn't like it. Third year, it started alright. It was alright, like, it wasn't the greatest. And then it ended this year in COVID, which was like the worst time to end it. College was the best years so far in my life. I met so many great, amazing people, like, so many. The friends that I made in college, I think they're the people that I'm gonna be my friends for the rest of my life. I can't wait to see what the future holds for me and my friends. Like, you know what I mean? It could be this, could be doing this for the rest of my life, I don't know. You just have to ruin my nice moment with an awkward fart. My depression started with me crying as a kid. And I'm not saying it didn't end. It hasn't ended. I'm just trying to manage it at the moment. My life at the moment, my 20s, like through my teens, through my 20s, I couldn't cry. I couldn't show my emotion. End of my college days, just there in May. And I fucking cried my eyes out finishing up that college. Finished up that documentary. But I'm proud of it. There's so many people that gave me so many positive comments on that, and saying people that didn't even know my grandparents loved it and kind of felt like they knew them from the documentary, which was kind of like, Jesus, you can get that from the documentary. Like, doing these videos just helps, and I think going forward I'm going to be doing more of these videos, not just on mental health, but on my journey through my 30s. I'm gonna start baking soon. I'm gonna film that. I'm doing the gym at the moment. My journey to lose weight, I'm gonna film that. Well, hopefully film it. And then nothing else that comes up. We'll see what happens. Like, I want you to like, share and subscribe, and just please comment below any type of message you want, because I don't know what the fuck. I'm not good at this. This is my first YouTube video. But I go live on Twitch Tuesdays 8 o'clock and Saturdays 8 o'clock. Thanks for watching the video. It was not easy for me to open up about my mental health. Like I said in the video, it took me years to tell people I failed my mechanics exams. I feel like I'll have to do a follow-up video to this video. There's a lot of stuff that we skipped over and I probably need to expand on more. So look out for that in the future. This channel isn't just going to be me talking to you. I have gameplay footage that I've recorded on stream that I want to share with you as well. I'm also going to record me learning to bake, my journey to lose weight, and maybe some editing tutorials. I would really appreciate if you consider subscribing. Maybe like this video and comment down below. Thanks for watching. Welcome to the DJ Sweaty Jocks channel.